My name Farah Natasha binti Nur Hishamuddin. My student ID 2024883136.
Hi, my name is Siti Alia Batrisha binti Muhammad Shahid, metric number 2024896318.
Hi, my name is Nur Shafika binti Helmi. My student ID is 2024452718.
We recommend that you move away from the computer.
Even God will not be able to help you.
It was scary and it took me into a whole world that I didn't know about.
A criminal gang of hackers ruthlessly extorting companies and institutions around the world.
This is the biggest ransomware investigation that I've worked on in my career.
He asked me if I would be interested in participating in ransomware. So I said yes.
Good day to our lecturer, Mr. Muhammad Hafifi, and to everyone watching. Today our group Farah Natasha, Siti Alia Batrisha and Nur Shafika represent case study 2 for our course UCS422. Our presentation focusing on the Fixed Instant documentary, tracking a hacker who extorted millions through ransomware attack. To begin, what is cybersecurity? It's the body of technologies, practice and processing designed to protect individuals and organizations from cybercrime. When a cyber attack occurs, malicious authors actively try to compromise the completely integrity or availability of an organization's critical data. Before we look at our case study, in cybersecurity, criminals use different types of attack to break into network, like malware, phishing, ransomware, DDoS, and insider threats. Their main goal is always to disrupt computer system or steal valuable information. So type of attack using in this case is ransomware. This is a special kind of dangerous software that encrypts victim files, making them completely impossible to open. The hacker then demands a ransom payment through in Bitcoin within a strict deadline if the victim wants to get a decryption key. So, who is behind this ransomware attack? The answer is networker. They are an Eastern Europe criminal organization that use highly sophisticated human-operated ransomware. Instead of relying on automated bugs, they use collective intelligence to research a company and exploit its specific vulnerability. Now, let's look at what the attacker is using to pull off this cyber attack. Networker relies on 4 main tactics. First, they operate under a ransomware as a service model. The core developer create the malware and then they franchise it out by hire other criminals to deploy it into target network. When a ransom is successfully paid, the developer and affiliate split the profit at an agreed rate, generally 70% to 80%, going to the affiliate and other portion go back to the developer. Second, they use double extortion. Before encrypting the file, they quickly store sensitive organization data. They are treated to publish it on a public blog if the ransom does not pay. This tactic ensures that even a company has good backup and can restore their own file, it's still facing the threat of massive data breach and reputation. Next, psychological pressure. Networkers send their ransom note using scared tricks like, "Even God can't help you." This was done on purpose to make the company panic and feel they had to act immediately. Networkers also run like a real business. First, they only target company making over 30 million USD a year, so they could afford to hug ransom. Second, instead of hacking security, they just use 50,000 to 20,000 store username and password from the dark web to log right into the network. All of these are the type of the attack using by networker. Networker operates like a highly organized business by targeting wealthy companies with a stored password, stealing private data, and using extreme psychological pressure that ensure their target has almost no choice but to pay.
Okay, hi. Okay, I'm going to explain who involved in this attack. Ransomware is a type of cyber attack where hackers gain unauthorized access to a computer system, encrypt important files, and then demand a ransom payment in exchange for restoring access. These payments are often requests in cryptocurrency such as bitcoins because these are difficult to trace. And then, firstly we have networker primarily target organization rather than individual user because large companies were attractive targets because they possess valuable data and had the financial resource to pay substantial ransom amounts. So when business operations are disrupted due to encrypted files, company may experience financial loss, reputational damage, and operational downtime, making them more likely to pay the ransom. Okay, next we have university, were another major target because educational institutions have large amount of sensitive information such as student record, research data, financial information, and staff details. So many universities also operate large networks with thousands of users, creating more opportunity for attackers to exploit the university. And then during the COVID-19 pandemic, universities became especially vulnerable as many institutions rapidly shift to online learning environment. Okay, we have also hospitals were frequently attacked because healthcare organizations rely heavily on continuous access to patient records and medical system and create because a ransomware attack can disrupt patient care and delay treatments and create potentially life-threatening situation. Knowing the urgency faced by hospitals, cyber criminals often believe these organizations are more likely to pay quickly to restore the operation. Okay, next we have also public health district who are also involved in this ransomware attack because due to their role in the managing health information and public service. This organization often handles sensitive medical data and provide essential community service. Any disruption can affect thousands of people, making them valuable targets for ransomware groups seeking financial gain. Okay, so overall, this network are very selected with the organization because it's depend heavily on digital systems and could suffer significant consequence if access to their data was lost. Okay, next we have what is the target up to. So what is the cyber criminal network up to? How many victims were affected worldwide? So the first point is the Canadian victims were among the primary target because since several members of the network operation were linked to Canada, many attacks originate from or affect Canadian organization. However, the campaign actually expanded beyond just Canada and became an international cybercrime operation. Okay, next is the attacker also had access to more than 50,000 to 20,000 VPN accounts and login credentials. So VPNs are commonly used by employees to securely access company system remotely. So by obtaining usernames and passwords through phishing attacks, these thieves or other hacking methods, cybercriminal could gain direct access to organizational networks. So this access often serves as the entry point for deploying ransomware. Next we have is what the target is the targeting of companies with annual revenues exceed $30 million. So rather than attacking random organizations, networkers strategically selected business that were financially capable of paying large ransoms. So these attackers are often negotiate ransom payments and typically settle for amounts between 25% to 50% of their initial demands. So this approach resembles a criminal business model where attackers maximize profits while increasing the likelihood of payments. Okay, next we have also actually 400 victims across 30 countries were affected. This demonstrates the global nature of modern cybercrime. Because networker was not limited by geographical boundaries because attacks could be launched remotely through the internet. Because victims include business, educational institution, healthcare provider, and government-related organizations from multiple regions around the world. Okay, next, I'm gonna explain about how was the attack started. So this attack typically begin when cybercriminals gain access to a victim networks. This could occur through stolen VPN, traditional phishing emails, software vulnerabilities, or weak security control. Once inside the network, the attacker moves through the system, identify valuable files, and prepare the ransomware deployment. So the first stage involves encrypting critical files. So encryption is a process that converts readable data into a unreadable format. So without the correct decryption key, victims cannot access their documents, database, application, or other important files. As a result, normal business operations are severely disrupted. So after the encryption, the attacker issue a ransom note. This note informs victims that their files has been locked and provide instruction for making payment. The notes often include deadlines and warnings to create urgency and pressure victim into complying. In many cases, victims were told to communicate with the attackers through anonymous channels on the dark web. Okay, this also want to highlight a technique known as double extortion. In addition to encrypting files, attackers also stole sensitive information before locking the system, because they want to to publish confidential data if the ransom was not paid. So this increased pressure on victims because even if they restore their systems from backups, the risk of data exposure remain. So when payment was usually requested in Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency allows cybercriminals to receive payments while maintaining a degree of anonymity. So after the payment, the attackers promise to provide decryption keys that will unlock the encrypted files. However, there was no guarantee that the victim will actually receive working decryption tools after paying. So, when this network operate by a group of developers who create and maintain the ransomware software, this reflects the ransomware as a service (RaaS) model, where developers provide ransomware tools to affiliate who carry out attacks. So the profit are then shared between the developers and the attackers. So this combination of technical attacks and psychology pressure made network one of the most dangerous ransomware operation during its active periods.
Now, let's look at the actual takedown, the $1 billion raid. This was not just a local police job. It was the massive international effort between the FBI, the RCMP in Canada, and authorities in Bulgaria. Now, how did they catch them? The big break happened when investigators traced a digital trail back to a server in Poland. And guess where it led?
straight to a quiet, normal-looking house in Quebec, Canada. When the police raided the place, honest to God, it was like a scene straight out of a movie. They found over $300,000 in cool, hard cash hidden inside a closet, and on top of that, more than $30 million worth of Bitcoin. But the mission did not just stop at the arrest, not at all. At the exact same time, authorities completely shut down the entire network over in Bulgaria to kill the virus for good. They wanted to make sure this thing could never bounce back. In the end, the hacker was extradited to the US and handed a heavy 20-year prison sentence. It was a massive win for global cybersecurity. Now, let's talk about the challenge. Why is so hard for the police to catch these hackers? Well, I have identified 3 main reasons based on this country. First, silence of the victims. Companies are often too embarrassed or scared for their reputation to report the crime. In fact, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre estimates that only about 5% of incidents are actually reported because companies pay in secret to avoid a public scandal. These criminal groups can continue to flourish in the shadow. Second is the Bitcoin money trail. Since Bitcoin is anonymous, move across border in second, it's incredibly difficult for investigators to follow the money. As we saw in this video, hackers can move millions of dollars rapidly across multiple digital wallets, making it a nightmare to freeze or recover the stolen funds. The last one, legal border. Many hackers hide in countries known as safe haven because these countries refuse to cooperate with international police. The hackers stay protected even when the police identify the criminal. The lack of cooperation makes an arrest nearly impossible. This creates a huge wall between the law and the hackers. To wrap things up, the networker case proved one thing: no matter how smart or advanced these hackers are, they can be caught, but only when global authorities work together as a team. But let's be honest, this is an ongoing war. Catching just one criminal doesn't mean cybercrime will stop tomorrow. As long as it makes a lot of money and as long as hackers can hide in safe countries, the threat will just keep growing. At the end of the day, this case teaches us a big lesson. Cybersecurity is a shared responsibility. We all need to stay sharp to protect our digital world. That's all from me. Thank you.